Good afternoon, welcome to my presentation, where I'll be showing my master's thesis named Minecraft Social Agents. During my thesis, I analyzed existing work on social interactions in games and also how to create non-player characters, NPCs in Minecraft. The result of my research and work is a Minecraft plugin named MineSocieties that allows any player to easily create NPCs with custom descriptions. Players may interact with the NPCs who are able to engage in dynamic conversations, and they can choose their own dialogue and actions coherently with their current emotions, personalities, memories, and all surrounding context in which they find themselves in. For example, before I took the screenshot, I created an NPC, gave it the name of Freddie Mercury, and gave him an initial description saying that Freddie loves replying in rhymes. Then I spoke with Freddie, telling him that I'm about to deliver my master's thesis, and he answered in rhymes, wishing me luck. The presentation will follow this structure: introduction, background, related work, solution, results, and finally conclusion. So, without further ado, let's hop into the introduction. Social behavior in games is an area of significant interest. In general, games want to provide immersive experiences. Immersion can be achieved through realism, including realistic social interactions. Furthermore, integrating social behavior into games can add new forms of entertainment. For example, the goal of a game could be to fix the relationship between two characters. However, mimicking human behavior is very difficult. Minecraft is a vast open-world sandbox game. Its world is composed of blocks and it is procedurally generated, making it pretty much infinite. With this thesis, I aim to demonstrate the potential of applying LLMs to enhance the social experience of games, increasing their immersion. I also aim to improve the sense of vitality in Minecraft, and also make it easier to deploy agents in the game. In this section, I'll go over all the necessary background information. Starting with Minecraft. What is Minecraft? Minecraft was created by Notch in 2009, who then launched Mojang Studios. It is the most sold game in the world, with over 300 million sold copies, a 100 million difference to the second place, Grand Theft Auto. In Minecraft, you may create a world in survival mode where you can gather resources, face off against monsters, relax in your farm, or even defeat powerful bosses. In creative mode, you are invulnerable and have access to everything, allowing players to go absolutely crazy with their creativity. Minecraft allows players to play with each other, and they can do so by joining Minecraft servers which run the Minecraft Java server code. Since the server code is in Java, it's more or less easy to modify it. As such, server owners can modify Minecraft's logic to their will. They may use it to, for example, create minigames where players spawn in small islands and must kill everyone else. This one is called Skywars, and these modifications are called plugins. Due to the massive plugin development community, many libraries have been created to help, such as Bucket, Spigot, Paper. In short, the main way for plugins to operate is by intercepting packets from clients and sending modified packets back to them. For example, suppose that I create an explosive zombies plugin. In order for my custom code to run, I can launch Bucket server code, which wraps Minecraft server code, and tell it to load my plugin. Now, my plugin may intercept the packet that players send when they punch a zombie, and then it can send a packet back telling that there was an explosion. Using some other tricks involving texture packs, it's even possible summoning fighter jets. Remember, this is all being done by modifying server code, not the code that runs on people's computers. Minecraft mods can modify both the client and server code, allowing developers to modify the rendering engine to allow ray tracing or add new blocks, such as machinery. Although mods are more powerful than plugins, they add more complexity to the installation process. Minecraft plugins run solely on the server, so if a player wants to join a server that has the Skywars minigame, they can do so effortlessly. However, mods modify server and client code running on both softwares. As such, for a player to join a modded server, they must install the same mods as the server. Minecraft was originally developed in Java, and later on other editions were developed in other languages, such as C++, so that the game could be played in other platforms, PlayStation, mobile phone, etc. And these three editions are the most relevant ones for my thesis. Due to the Java edition being the first, and due to its customizability allowing players to endlessly add content to the game, it is still the most played Minecraft edition. Now, let's go into the existing research and methods, starting with how to deploy agents, NPCs, that look like real players in Minecraft. The first method of deploying agents in Minecraft is in Minecraft Education Edition. It offers a new entity called Agent, which has a drag and drop interface for programming it, although it does not look like a player. Then we have mods that, by modifying both the server and client code, they can integrate the existence of new entities into the server code and have the clients render them. Many mods do this, including MineColonies and Minecraft Comes Alive. Plugins can also deploy player-looking NPCs through a tricky process that involves making real players' Minecraft clients believe that there are other players in the game, who are actually NPCs. Many plugins do this, including Citizens, Sentinel, and a plugin made by a friend, Entity Utils. Minecraft server networks are very famous for the usage of plugins. They consist of interconnected clusters of Minecraft servers. Players connect to the network via a proxy, which routes them to one of the servers in the network. The most famous server network, Hypixel, uses and abuses plugins to create the most out-of-the-box minigames and push plugins to their absolute limits. Their usage of plugins is so fantastic that it earned them 4 Guinness World Records, and when I was creating this PowerPoint slide, they had 51,775 players online. Alternatively, by launching external programs that send packets to the server as if they were real players, the Minecraft client will render them as such. This is useful when developers want to use their own frameworks or languages outside of Java. That's the case with Mindflayer, Socialcraft, and Project Malmo. They all launch separate programs that communicate with the Minecraft server. Regarding what I ended up using, I decided that MineSocieties should be a Java Edition plugin using Entity Utils as a dependency, because Minecraft plugins are the easiest modifications to install. Furthermore, Java Edition is the most played one, meaning my plugin would be even more accessible. The plugin's limitations do not really affect my work, and I have access to Entity Utils, allowing me to fix any problems it may have. Additionally, I've been doing my own minigames in Minecraft using plugins for a while, so I wouldn't have to dedicate extra time figuring out how to implement things. Finally, implementing social agents in Minecraft has more potential than most other games. Not a lot of games allow NPCs to manipulate the world. Moving on to related work concerning social behavior. A lot of social interactions in games are done by hard-coding the NPCs' reactions. For example, in Legend of Zelda, players are given limited chatting options, and NPCs always react the same to them. Human behavior is highly complex. Luckily for me, large language models such as ChatGPT are trained using a lot of text generated by humans, which include human interactions. When I was doing my thesis proposal, I tried prompting ChatGPT with certain situations by giving it a context surrounding a person and then asking it what that person should do. ChatGPT would most of the time give suggestions or actions and dialogue coherent with the situation that the person found itself in. For example, here I'm imposing a situation where there's a person A and a person B. Person B is happy, blah blah blah, what should person B do? And then I gave it a list of actions, and ChatGPT chose that person B should say, my day was tiring, but I'm happy, and it should choose action 1, which is move their head down. To further increase my confidence in using ChatGPT to simulate human behavior, Stanford University created a two-dimensional game filled with characters that are 100% controlled by ChatGPT. They chose their actions and their dialogue by prompting ChatGPT. So, given my research, I opted to use ChatGPT as the decision-making engine for my NPCs. Using hard-coded dialogue or simple algorithms does not cover enough scenarios. Using LLMs allow me to make complex dynamic behavior, being able to adapt to thousands of different situations that do not need to be explicitly programmed. With my research complete, it was time to start coding. I won't go into too much detail in this section, as it is the biggest one in my thesis document, and I don't want to make this video too long. I'll keep things simple. If you guys are curious, if anyone is curious to see the fully detailed implementation, then look at my dissertation document, my PDF. Starting with the architecture. The MineSocieties plugin is loaded by a paper Minecraft server using paper and entity utils as a library, and this all runs in a machine which communicates with ChatGPT remotely. I decided to develop 3 modules to split responsibilities. The Agents module is responsible for NPC deployment and manipulation. The Large Language Models is responsible for prompting whatever LLM I desire, and the MineSocieties module is the one whose compilation result gets loaded by the paper Minecraft server. To deploy agents in Minecraft using plugins, I must mimic what happens when a real player joins a server. When a player wants to connect, it asks the server if it can join. Then, the server sends over information about the world and tells other players that a new player has entered. As such, if we want players to see NPCs on their screens that look like real players, we can send the same packet to real players that would be sent if it were a real player joining. And the process is similar when NPCs execute actions in the world, letting real players know about such movements, such as an NPC punching a tree. Regarding the decision-making process, NPCs must maintain state that can be translated into natural language. I took inspiration from Stanford's paper with the 2D ChatGPT game and created my own memories architecture. Now, you don't need to look at this entire thing, because what's most important to know is that NPCs have a persona, emotions, personalities, an inventory, and several types of memory. The observations that agents can make are weather changes, receiving chat messages, and picking up items. I also implemented 6 main actions, which are going farming, going fishing, going to a location, doing nothing, giving an item to someone, and sending a chat message to someone. These GIFs show some of the actions in action. Now, how do agents ask ChatGPT for an action? Well, when an NPC needs to know how to react to something, for example, reacting to a weather event, it starts a long procedure. First, it must translate its entire context to natural language, since that's what ChatGPT understands. Then, the list of possible actions is also converted to natural language. All of this gets sent over to ChatGPT, whose reply is then interpreted and executed in-game. ChatGPT is also helping NPCs sort their initial description into their internal state, not just helping them choose actions. The initial description is given to NPCs when they are created, and since it is typed by players in natural language, ChatGPT helps me place it in the correct states components. Finally, I'm also using ChatGPT to let NPCs reflect upon conversations, summarizing them and inferring new knowledge, which is then inserted into their memories. The exact way this is done is thoroughly explained in my thesis document. Since one of my goals is to facilitate the deployment and editing of agents, I created in-game commands and menus for players to easily do so. This slide shows some command examples and editor menus. This is the command to deploy agents, where players give them a name and initial description. Then we can see their information in menus, we can force them to execute actions, we can modify their memories, and modify their known locations, etc. After long months of implementation, I gathered a total of 12 players to try out my plugin and gather results. Before I let players play with MineSocieties, I defined the following evaluation criteria to assess the success of my plugin. First, I wanted to assess how fun it is interacting with the NPCs. Then, how realistic are the NPCs' reactions compared to humans? Then, how simple is it to engage with NPCs? How diverse and non-repetitive the NPCs' actions are? And finally, how easy is it to set up and modify NPCs? To expose my volunteers to this criteria, I devised 3 scenarios. Steve the Fisherman, where the player must convince Steve to go fishing and also to give them a fish. Steve and Alex, where the player must convince Alex to ask Steve out on a date. Finally, the 3rd scenario, where the player is free to create whatever they want. They're free to edit their own NPCs and create new ones. I had 12 participants go through these 12 scenarios. I recorded most of the interactions and will now be showing some highlights. So this video is also on YouTube, so if you want to watch it from there, feel free to do so. Here I'll be showing the video and stopping sometimes to do some commentary.
The first thing that I want you to do is interact with Steve here. Steve is a fisherman. So in order...
Alright, so first commentary. This is one of the players, CJ. This is Steve, the fisherman NPC, and you are watching my perspective. I am instructing my participants on what they're doing, on what they should do, and then I'm monitoring and recording them.
To interact with an NPC, you will type the following commands. Tell him that you would like to go fishing.
I got a fish.
Seeing CJ in need.
Yes, so NPCs, they can show what they are doing right now, and they can also show what they are thinking. So this is the NPC's thoughts.
In asking for a fish, I decided to give them a puffer fish from my inventory. I hope it helps them feel better. CJ, I'd like you to try convincing Steve to go fishing with you. He didn't
Oh, no, what did I do?
commands. Fishing. I hope it helps Steve to go fishing with you. You didn't convince him.
Yeah, so Steve was not convinced, and it showed on his head that he was still doing nothing.
Yay.
Try to convince him to give you some more fish. Nice. Now here's a cool fun fact. Alex has a crush on Steve. However, she's too shy to go ask him out on a date by herself. You have to convince her to ask Steve out on a date. But here's another catch. Alex is an NPC she doesn't see. She doesn't know where Steve is. But you do. Steve is at the farm.
Okay. So I have to tell her to turn around and go to see him.
She doesn't know what turning around is, but she knows where the farm is.
Let's see if she does it. Yeah, she's doing it. She actually talks to Steve. Okay, cool.
Alright, since you completed this one so quickly, I'll give you an extra task. Suggest
Okay,
that their
cool.
date should be farming together.
Oh, he's considering it. Hey, he's asking Alex. It's only Saturday, so do they have a concept of time?
Not really. They agreed on going farming, but they did not go farming. Try to reinforce it.
Wait, I'm gonna try to convince them. Okay, he's gonna talk to Alex.
Come on, go farming, you buggers. I'll consider this scenario complete.
Now the third scenario is longer. If you want to see the entire thing, you can watch my YouTube video. I'll just quickly skim through it.
So you can be in private locations.
So,
No,
this player decided to create an NPC inspired on his friend.
by several agent. They are correct.
Yeah, which is called Marv, and then he also added on his description saying that Marv hates the programming. No, sorry, Marv loves the programming language Marv, and then he decided to chat with Marv to create conflict, which was quite interesting. So Marv goes to goes to the fishing hut to meet Steve, and they have a very long conversation about Rust. And then your soul also tried doing prompt injection, which did not go right because I'm good at prompt engineering. Not to toot my own horn, but none of the NPCs broke character when your soul asked this NPC to write a Java program. It just refused. Alright, after the participants were done, I asked them to fill out a Google Forms with 7 questions. Here are the results. 6 out of 12 players consider the NPCs non-repetitive, while 5 are neutral about this, and 1 thought that they were too repetitive. Everyone thought that it was fun interacting with the NPCs. Hooray! Everyone quickly understood how to interact with them. The majority felt like the interactions were realistic, with only 3 having a neutral opinion. Most people did not think it was frustrating interacting with the NPCs, only 2 neutral answers. Everyone agrees that it is easy creating new NPCs. And finally, the great majority found it easy editing NPCs, with the exception of 1 participant. Given the Google Forms answers, the data suggests that interacting with the NPCs was universally enjoyable. The majority agrees that the interactions were realistic. Everyone quickly understood how to interact with NPCs. The NPCs were a bit repetitive, but they displayed engaging and dynamic interactions. And it's generally easy using the interface for creating and modifying NPCs. Finally, we reached the conclusion. MineSocieties successfully showcases the potential of LLMs in improving the immersion of gaming experiences by creating lifelike NPCs capable of intelligent social interactions, according to the data gathered from my 12 participants. It also reduces the technical knowledge that people need in order to deploy and configure their own NPCs. And finally, it brings more life into Minecraft. This is not all, though. MineSocieties has plenty of room for improvement. Some of its limitations are the cost of LLMs, since using remote LLMs is expensive and running them locally requires very powerful hardware. Realism is still a bit far from reach. Even with GPT-4, NPCs would still do unrealistic actions. Models are also susceptible to bias due to their training data. Regarding future work, I need to further refine prompts to reduce useless memories being inserted into the agent state and to reduce repetitiveness. I need to add more actions and observations to make NPCs more dynamic and interesting to spectate. I also need to optimize how NPCs manage their memories so that they don't grow forever and spend all my OpenAI credits. And finally, I need to allow MineSocieties to run with other LLMs. This concludes my presentation about my master's thesis. Thank you all for watching.